Hello, and welcome to my first-person stealth action shooter level entitled Porto. Now, Porto is the second largest city in Portugal, located on the estuary of the Douro River, and let me tell you, it's a sight to behold. With my trip there being put on the back burner due to the pandemic, I chose to give emulating it a go, and it took the form of the level you see before you now. I made sure to give the player enough space in the beginning of the level to get acquainted, and then offering an establishing shot of the entire map to set the mood. And on their way down, I introduce bits and pieces that reward exploration to encourage that sort of playstyle. This sort of old European city always come with a lot of charm, texture, and character. So after this linear start, I introduce the first enemy. And that's meant to try to get the player to get off the main path and find alternative routes, since they don't have their pistol yet. Sometimes it's nice to let the player take their desired path and get off the main path and take a shortcut. A while back while working on this, I tweeted out this next passage where I used a van to draw the player's eye. I then quickly introduced moving enemies while also dynamically blocking off the road, creating a believable boundary for the player. Now the tweet got me a bunch of likes and retweets and all that good stuff, and it was a real morale booster for me. If you follow the guards, you'll find your gun stashed behind enemy lines by your organization, and you'll see a helicopter leaving the area. The story of this level is that the boss of these bandits that are holed up in this part of town are leaving the nest, allowing you the opportunity to sneak in while the place is less guarded and steal an object of great value. The player will need to return here once they've found what they're looking for, so the tempo is low, allowing exploration so the player knows their way around the place on the way back when it's swarming with enemies. I worked a lot with contextual enemy introduction. So if you were to have gone down the stairs instead of the way I just went, two guards emerge from across this little plaza. Now the AI is far from perfect, but it does serve my purpose, at least fairly well. Here we reconverge with a tram track that we'll see use later. Using it to tie the level together, as opposed to having it cut through it, was a change that came sort of late into the project. I think it could have seen even more use as a constant or a datum, something that the rest of the city planning would have to take into consideration. Now this is the portal into the final part of the level, the Old Town. This is tons of tiny, narrow and snaking alleys, letting the player get lost as they're searching in the belly of the beast for what they're looking for. It's a little bit like Bilbo when he's about to find Gollum's ring, but with more saudade. Here I have a garish red painting masquerading as a cube, drawing attention from the second floor of this building here. This is one of two buildings that the player can enter and is where they will find their prize. Again, here's an example of me having an enemy emerge at the right moment for the player to see them from a safe distance. And boom, a shining red cube! The prize is yours. However, when the player picks it up, an alarm goes off. The helicopter from before comes back and drops off tougher enemies, while even more start emerging from houses. This is where I've planted an alternative route across the rooftops, for the player to make their escape. Now as the player comes back out into the open, a tram filled with baddies arrive, forcing the player into an exciting shootout in the coffee square. Oh no, you're not getting away that easy. Up the hill is the church where you started. It's not far now. Now for the grand finale, as you fight your way back up these steps, another tram arrives. But this time, you can use it to make your escape. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Again, my name is Svante, and I'll catch you on the flip side.